Thanks for this kind introduction and welcoming me to this international conference on sustainability in multidisciplinary sciences um, at this at the Sita Lakshmi Ramaswamy College, Trichy, in collaboration with Bharat University. And today we're going to talk about need for circular food systems to address climate change and strengthen ecosystems. Today's agenda, I'm going to talk about my journey and about the FEAST program. And we will talk, I would like to share two case studies with everyone and future perspective in summary. So this is the agenda for this summer, for this talk. And to talk about the journey and like let me share that already it was discussed about my journey. I wanted to give you a pictorial representation of my journey before I start why I'm interested in circular food systems. So I started all the way in Tamil Nadu, so food is something that brings us joy. I don't have to share this with you because we have a tradition of food that connects everyone. And I was also interested in studying about how this system works. And that led me to my journey to Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, which is one of the oldest institutions for agriculture in India. And TNAU also had collaborations with McGill University in Canada and Cornell University in the US. So these are all pretty much great land-grant institutions. And that was interesting because when I was doing my BTech food processing, hope this works. Yeah. So we have this beautiful pilot plant. Since it's the Department of Physics, I understand, you understand the importance of machines and how precise things needs to be in order to get a product. So this is where I was trained during my undergrad, and it was a very fulfilling experience to see how processing systems can help in developing sustainable food systems. And one project that really excited me or introduced me to this concept of food security. Before that, I have never heard this term food security, but there was this international collaborative project in TNAU along with McGill University on consolidation of food security in South India. So where there were a lot of trainings that was given to farmers, self-help groups regarding value addition from mangoes to tomatoes and how do we preserve it for a longer time. In India, you see tons of tomatoes being produced at one season, and then the farmers might not have enough resources, so it gets dumbed down, right? So that's a big food loss. So this particular project was really exciting, and it opened me to this concept of food loss and waste. And that led to my journey to McGill University, where I got my Commonwealth Scholarship to do my master's in bioresource engineering. And then that's also pretty much old institution, like around 200 plus years old institution in Montreal. And this is how it looks. It's a beautiful campus. And that in turn, and I was talking about tomato, right? That was getting waste. So whenever we talk about food loss and waste, we need to understand few things. Before, like even 10 years ago, we were grouping everything as food waste. But then we understood there is a difference between the point source. Anything that happens in the production, post-harvest, and processing, and even in the distribution, that's all grouped under food loss. And something that happens in the retail or at home, that is considered as food waste because the source of waste is different. And the way we have to address them is also different because this is a bulk. The quantity is more. Here, it's relatively a smaller quantity. So the strategies used for addressing food loss might not apply to food waste. Okay, so that's something that I wanted to put up front. This is something I learned there as well. Right? And then that led to my postdoc in chemical engineering at the University of Toronto. It's also a wonderful campus, pretty much 200 plus years old again. So and there I was introduced to, I was working on this project on double. Yes. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am.
Got okay, because I saw there was a disturbance. Okay, sounds good. So here, the double fortification of salt um, in with iron and iodine. Actually, this particular project happens in India. So I will talk about this case study later, why it's important. So this is another project I was introduced to. And then now I'm at the University of Missouri, which is pretty much also an old institution, land grant institution. And this is how our campus looks like. It's a beautiful campus. Currently, it's very cold. It's like minus, let me tell you, um, today, now as we speak, it's minus 10 degrees Celsius here. It's very cold out here, a lot of snow. But yeah, so this is where I am. And why did I even start my research program called Feast? Is because as we started our 21st century, we did see a lot of natural calamities, right? From earthquakes to tsunamis to wildfires. And currently, there are big wildfires in LA. And, and also, we saw the pandemic, right? Whenever something like this happens, it it affects the vulnerable population groups. Around 28 million people were affected by chronic hunger um, throughout the world, which is a big challenge. Okay, if this is 21st century, we are facing this. But I want to ask a question: has anyone heard about hidden hunger? Unfortunately, when I'm presenting, I'm not able to see the audience. So someone from the organizers needs to give me, if students are listening to this, um, let them raise their hands, or like, how many students are there in the auditorium or watching this?
Ma'am, few are in offline and few are listening online, ma'am. More
Okay,
than
roughly how many people?
100
Like,
students are there, ma'am.
okay, great. That's great. 100 students. And so I want whoever's helping me asking this question, kindly can you ask them to raise their hands? Have anyone heard about hidden hunger?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Student? Yeah, madam is asking about hidden hunger. Participants, you can also answer her. Those
Roughly, like,
are
if they can raise their hands, or give me if 100 people are there, if 25 raise their hands, or 10 raise their hands, or 50 raise their hands, just to know who are there in the audience and where I can start.
Ma'am, is it mall?
Only one person? Am I hearing less than 10 people know about hidden hunger? Is
Ma'am,
that a
is
guess?
it malnutrition?
Yes, it is related to malnutrition. Yes.
It's
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for this, because I wish there was
thank
like,
you, ma'am.
um, I could see, but unfortunately, I'm not able to see the audience. Okay. So, uh, hidden hunger is due to micronutrient deficiencies. Around 2 billion people on this planet. Roughly, how many? There are around 7 million, 7.8, roughly 8 billion people, let's say. One third of the global population is affected by hidden hunger. Irrespective of developed countries, developing countries, everyone is somehow affected. And we lose around 7 million children before they reach their fifth birthday because some sort of malnutrition, right? And and so this, when we talk about malnutrition, micronutrient deficiency, vitamins and minerals play a key role because, as we know, vitamins are classified into water solubles and fat solubles, and minerals are obtained from earth, like pretty much. And most of the sources for humans, we get it through our food system, right? And it's easy to lose these micronutrients even by just simple cooking. even just storing these fruits and vegetables for a prolonged period of time in our refrigerators, we could see a loss or degradation of vitamins. So that's why they're very sensitive. And that's why many people are exposed to micronutrient deficiencies. And we are not, and it's very subtle. That's why we don't talk about it. And that's why it's called the hidden hunger. Okay. So this affects 2 billion people. When I had this opportunity to start my research program, one hand, we had problems of hidden hunger. And whenever we're talking about this, we always talk about wasting and stunting. Actually, overweight and obesity also falls under the same umbrella. And this is what we call the double burden of malnutrition. And recent Lancet report states that there are significant evidence that there is a connection between micronutrient deficiencies and the double burden of malnutrition. On the other hand, roughly one third of all the food that's produced globally is lost or wasted annually. Okay, so you see, there's fruits and vegetables which are quite high in vitamins and minerals are lost globally. On the other hand, we have people without food, right? That's like a big challenge. In nature, there is nothing called waste. Waste is a terminology that was created by humans because in nature, everything flows from one form to another. And if we can be humble and learn from nature, then we will not be calling it as waste, but rather raw materials for our processing, right? And then the big question we are asking is, can we develop circular food systems to address this hidden hunger? So that's a big question that we ask in our research. And I know it's a complex challenge and there's no single solution for this. Okay. So in our research lab, which is called the Feeds Lab, how we are addressing it is we are addressing in 3 areas. One is upcycling of food loss and food waste to create circular economy, to recover micronutrients from food, and then to also prevent the loss of indigenous plants and to contribute to sustainable food systems. And then once we recover them, we encapsulate them from nano to micro scale to macro scale encapsulation to develop delivery systems to enhance the micronutrients in diverse food products. And then we fortify them back into food systems to prevent hidden hunger, vitamin and mineral deficiency, and address the problems of the double burden of malnutrition. And the targeted population groups are maternal and children, women and children in urban, rural, and tribal communities. So this is our overall research goal and an overview. And as you see, whatever we do, we try to align with the UN SDG number 2, that is the zero hunger. And in the case studies that I'm going to share with you, I would like to share that in order to attain any of these SDGs, it's so important to have partnership for the goals. Because every time we cannot address one goal as such. If we have to address one, then there will be a connection to some or other SDG goals. Okay, so that's what I'm going to share through the case studies and connect with this conference. Okay, so the first case study we're going to talk about is upcycling of food industry waste for micronutrient recovery. And for that, we will be Greek yogurt is a very big popular breakfast item in the US and in Europe as well. And so for 1 cup of Greek yogurt, it's the thick Greek yogurt, okay, we generate around 3 cups of waste. Okay, the market for Greek yogurt has skyrocketed in the US, and that means we are generating 3 times more than of the waste, right? So currently we have no proper systems of disposing it. So that's one big challenge. Okay. On the other hand, in India, we are most of us know about millets, right? It's part of our culture. We consume millets in different forms, but in the US or in North America or in Europe, It's not quite common, but you'll be surprised. I will surprise too. We were thinking that millets pretty much grows in Asia and Africa.